今天来上海看精神科，这里是上海精神卫生中心，也就是传说中的宛平南路600号，一个非常权威的精神病院。来排队取个号，好多人啊！挂好了，在这边等一会儿。好多人啊，感觉要等很久啊，全是排队的人。现在开好药了，好贵啊！我开好药了，但是开的这个叫什么葵硫平片，我发现它上面适用于治疗精神分裂症和治疗双向情感障碍的躁狂发作。怎么回事？他跟我说我没有精神病，我再三确认了我没有精神病。他说我只是应激性精神障碍，我没有精神病，我只是因为医生刚才说我没有精神病，但是他这个病，他这个药，他又。
今天在上海宛平南路600号精神病医院看病。
Today, an older single woman, feeling mentally chaotic and physically unwell recently, went to 600 Wanping South Road in Shanghai, which is the Shanghai Mental Health Center. This is a very authoritative psychiatric hospital. She initially thought she was experiencing ordinary mood swings. However, after a diagnosis, the doctor explicitly told her that she did not have a mental illness. Yet, what is contradictory is that the doctor still prescribed her medication for treating schizophrenia. Seeing such a prescription, this older single woman felt puzzled and confused. Sisters, doesn't this feel shocking? This is the ultimate fate of older single women living alone. Why does being single for too long make you suspect you have a mental illness? Because being in a state of prolonged loneliness leads to confusion and helplessness in your mind. This state gradually erodes your confidence, even causing you to begin doubting yourself and questioning life. In many cases, the psychological pressure and emotional damage caused by being single are much deeper and more painful than the trivialities and conflicts in married life, possibly 100 times more so. Women need to understand that men are not enemies, but rather partners and supporters in life. Men can provide women with guidance, support and protection, rather than being burdens or sources of stress in our minds. Older single women, please stop pretending to be strong. Instead of enduring loneliness and confusion on your own, take the initiative to find someone worthy of relying on. Marriage will not become your shackle, and children will not become an obstacle to pursuing your dreams. On the contrary, a happy family is precisely the place that can offer warmth during life's low points, and is the source of strength that supports us to keep moving forward. Family and loved ones not only bring us hope, but also help us find the destination of our lives.
大龄剩女都是病态心理，千万不要找。
Older single women generally have psychological issues, and it is best not to associate with them. You are not a professional psychologist and cannot save them. The only choice is to stay away from them. I have found that these older single women often have a significant problem. They always hope that a man can solve all their troubles and are often fantasizing about unrealistic things. If you observe carefully, you will notice that many older single women exhibit varying degrees of psychological abnormalities, such as paranoia, inferiority, narcissism, carelessness, passivity, fear, perfectionism, and introversion. This is not just an individual problem but has become a societal phenomenon and challenge, even affecting companies and workplace environments. According to observations, 80% of older single women may suffer from narcissistic personality disorder, a psychological condition frequently mentioned online. These older single women usually exhibit the following typical traits. First, they appear to have high self-esteem on the surface but, in reality, have a low moral baseline. Second, they are extremely self-centered, unreasonable, and often engage in irrational arguments during communication. Third, their emotional fluctuations are significant and unstable. Fourth, they have a strong desire for control, often liking to set small rules to assert their dominance and satisfy their inner sense of superiority. Fifth, they face significant difficulties in intimate relationships, always harboring unrealistic fantasies about success, power, honor, beauty, ideals, and love. Currently, the number of older single women in China has exceeded 100 million, which fully illustrates the severity of this issue. These women lack love and emotional support for extended periods, and even their physiological needs remain unmet for long durations, eventually leading to worsening psychological problems that further impact society. They not only disrupt co-worker relationships in the workplace but may also interfere with and damage the happiness of others' families in daily life. Therefore, I strongly advise single men who are still searching for partners to avoid these older single women at all costs. Their issues are beyond what ordinary people can resolve. Instead of trying to save them, it is better to stay away to avoid being entangled in complex emotional and psychological troubles.
发型，换一份心情，从头开始。
Today, I gathered my courage and cut my hair short, changing to a brand new hairstyle, hoping to adjust my mood and start anew. I wish this change could bring me new luck and a good marriage. At 35 years old, I am still single, and today is another day of attending someone else's wedding banquet. Watching others step into the hall of marriage one after another, I can't help but sigh. I wonder when it will be my turn to host my own wedding? Attending others' wedding celebrations every day has somewhat affected my mindset. When will I be able to attend a wedding banquet of my own? In our rural area, the dishes served at wedding banquets are indeed excellent. All the ingredients are very fresh, whether it's meat or seafood, and the dishes are prepared with strong local characteristics and taste fantastic. According to the customs of our hometown, wedding banquets usually consist of 2 meals, one at noon and another in the evening. Every time I attend such weddings, I can't help but feel emotional. Seeing other couples happily hand in hand, I always silently remind myself, I must actively search for a suitable partner and not waste any more time. However, time always seems to fly by, day after day, and I am getting older. Whenever the night grows quiet, I reflect on my life. What should I do to find the one who belongs to me and start my married life? Perhaps from now on, I need to cherish every opportunity, stop hesitating, stop wandering, and gradually lower my requirements for a partner.
我今年43岁，没有结婚，也没有生孩子。
I am already 43 years old, still unmarried and childless. Recently, I have found myself feeling increasingly lonely, especially during the cold winter. This sense of coldness seems not only physical, but also a deep loneliness from within. As time goes by, my emotions have become more unstable, and I find myself easily sinking into a low, even depressive state. One day, I went through my contact list and realized that there wasn't a single person I could truly confide in or fully trust. This made me feel incredibly lost, as though I had become a forgotten presence in my interpersonal relationships. Every day, I spend my time alone, repeating the same solitude and emptiness day after day, especially during the nights or in cold weather. This loneliness pierces my heart and leaves me feeling utterly helpless. I don't know how other single women manage to get through times like these, but for me, each day of solitude seems to invisibly add to the weight on my heart. It feels as if my emotions are always on the verge of breaking down, and even the slightest trigger can plunge me into deep sadness. This state makes it very hard for me to move forward, and it leaves me feeling confused and anxious about the future. I feel that being single for too long really impacts a person's mental state. Sometimes, I feel as if I can barely hold on anymore. Being alone for so long causes all kinds of negative thoughts to surface in my mind, like wondering if I did something wrong to end up in this situation, or even questioning the meaning of life itself. Sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I feel like the tired and unfamiliar person staring back at me is no longer me. I've started to fear socializing, avoid facing crowds, and feel overwhelmed by a profound fear and powerlessness about the future. In any case, I feel that I've recently been falling into this depressive emotional state very easily. I'm not sure if it's a sign that something might be wrong with my mental health.
我是一个优质大龄剩女。
I am not a high-quality older single woman. I am already 40 years old. In fact, my heart is filled with contradictions. I could even say that this state in real life makes me feel extremely helpless and sad. Now, if I were to participate in matchmaking activities, I would only pay attention to those I like or those whom I think are reasonably compatible and acceptable in various aspects. However, reality is often cruel. Those men whom I consider high quality have absolutely no interest in me and won't even spare me a glance. On the other hand, the men who are interested in me and actively pursue me are all very undesirable, completely unattractive, and not my type at all. Faced with these misfits, I also feel no interest whatsoever, and naturally, I cannot force myself to accept them. As a result, even now, I still maintain my pride and refuse to settle. However, I am clearly aware that behind this arrogant attitude lies a deep sense of helplessness. Many older single women like me actually share a similar mindset. Outwardly, we appear strong, as if we don't care, but internally, we may be struggling deeply. We know that our advancing age has drastically reduced our value in the marriage market, yet we can't help but hold on to the hope that marriage might change our fate. However, the reality is that opportunities are becoming fewer, and choices are increasingly limited. Today, at 40 years old, I am still single. Sometimes, I reflect on myself and feel that my situation is entirely self-inflicted. I never think that I deserve sympathy because, in my opinion, pitiful people always have something detestable about them. I have always believed that the least of an older single woman's problems is her age. Age is not a decisive obstacle in marriage and relationships. Similarly, I also feel that the problems I currently face are ultimately not caused by my age but by my persistent refusal to bow to reality. Age, to me, is indeed an issue, but it is the least significant among all my problems.
这女她思想确实又比较极端了，有点偏激了。
Some older single women have indeed become somewhat extreme in their thinking, even to the point of being biased. Many older single women do not plan to get married. They simply want to enjoy the process of dating. In other words, they do not want to establish any formal relationship with you. They just want to accept your efforts and goodwill. If you approach them with a long-term goal, or hope to achieve some kind of outcome through dating, older single women may not be able to meet your expectations. They are unwilling to enter marriage, nor do they want to invest in genuine emotions and responsibilities, preferring instead to immerse themselves in the ambiguous state between you. In the end, when you ask them about the future of the relationship, they often dissociate themselves entirely, acting innocent. They might say you are overthinking or claim they need more time to observe and consider. In fact, there are reasons why these women have become older single women. They often harbor fears about relationships and marriage, or have extremely high standards for a partner. This situation has made older single women gradually become a widely discussed social phenomenon. Do not assume that being single means they are just waiting for the right marriage opportunity. Things may not be that simple. Some older single women explicitly state that they do not want to get married and only wish to date. As for whether they are dating one person, two people, or even maintaining certain relationships with more people, there might not be a clear answer. Therefore, when you attempt to engage with them on a deeper level, the outcome is often unpredictable and may even be disappointing.
你单身并不可怕，可怕的就是
As an older single woman, being single is not actually that scary. What's truly terrifying is not only being older, but also having an average appearance and poor financial conditions. No savings, no stable job, and even just having gone through unemployment. This is what truly makes middle-aged people feel despair and helplessness. Is there anyone like me? I was born in 1991, so I can be considered part of the post-90s generation. But my current state of life makes me feel anxious and uneasy. No savings, an unstable job, and no suitable man to meet. This kind of life is utterly exhausting. These past few days, I felt particularly irritated about work and trivial life matters. For instance, the issue with my rent. My lease is about to expire, but because I can't find anyone to take over the rental, my 1,800 yuan deposit hasn't been returned. This situation leaves me both helpless and heartbroken. I've really tried every method to transfer the lease, but still, no one has taken it over. Thinking about these issues every day makes me so anxious that I can't sleep. Moreover, I have to go for a trial tomorrow. I don't even know if the results of the trial will satisfy me or if I'll be hired. Now it's almost the new year, and I'm still worried about finding a job. This is a situation I've never encountered before. In the past, I never felt such deep anxiety. Perhaps this is the helplessness and sadness of growing older without getting married, having no savings in life, and no stable career. This kind of emotion really makes people break down. I honestly have no idea what to do right now. How do you usually relieve this kind of anxiety? How do you manage to regain a sense of stability in life? For me, it feels nearly impossible. Honestly, I just want a stable job right now. To be frank, I even feel like my mental state has already deteriorated. Sometimes I suddenly feel like the whole world is against me, and even small matters can cause me to collapse. My mind is constantly filled with negative thoughts, and I often suffer from insomnia. Thinking about how I can't find a husband. My work is not going well. Is there something wrong with me that has caused me to end up in this situation? Sigh. I hope that in 2025, I can find a suitable man to marry and also secure a job.
Why do we find that older single women seem to become more anxious day by day? The older they get, the stronger this sense of anxiety becomes. However, surprisingly, older single men appear to have relatively less anxiety. Why is this the case? In fact, this is largely because older single men often manage to live quite carefree lives, and one could even say they are quite happy. For these older single men, their single status is often primarily due to financial constraints. In other words, they are unable to change their economic situation for the time being. Therefore, many men choose to live a minimalist life, and after doing so, they even find that apart from not having a woman in their lives, everything else is actually pretty good, with nothing particularly worrying them. However, the situation for women is completely different. As women age, they face problems that go beyond just a change in the number associated with their age. They are burdened by both physiological and societal pressures. First, women may start noticing wrinkles on their faces. Their physical stamina gradually declines, and most crucially, their fertility inevitably decreases. This makes many older single women feel extremely anxious, with some even developing various mental health issues. In contrast, men seem completely unbothered by the passage of time. Some even feel that men become more attractive as they age. Especially for those who have achieved career success, they are often considered more desirable with age. When older single women look for a partner, they tend to focus more on financial stability, which is something that can be improved over time. Even if a man reaches his 40s or 50s, as long as he owns a car, a house, and has savings, he still stands a chance of finding a much younger wife. But as for older single women, even if they have equally excellent financial conditions, it is almost impossible for them to find a husband significantly younger than themselves. You might find this unbelievable, but it's a reality. What's even more interesting is that with the increasing openness of society toward international marriages, some older single men even consider looking abroad. If they can't find a suitable partner within the country, they can entirely consider finding a foreign partner. This might sound harsh and seem unfair to older single women, but such phenomena indeed exist and are realities in today's society. Do you agree with my perspective? Feel free to leave your comments, as I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue bringing you even better content. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.